This is a podcast of Nathan, Nat and Sean.
Hey, everybody.
Hi, guys.
We're on holidays at the moment.
Oh, I'm loving it.
And
Sick.
loving it.
We've gotten a collection of some of the finest work that we've done throughout the year. Oh, guys.
And then we padded it out with some rubbish.
Don't undersell it, Nate.
Yeah.
Don't undersell it.
And this, of course, being a live broadcast. Today's best bits are all about...
The best of sporting stars.
Couldn't have said it better
Yeah.
myself.
Oh, my God. Right to the point you are.
Enjoy.
This is Nathan, Nat and Sean.
Oh, the old Navy Blues were up and about last night after
They
a
just-
shocking end to the season. Paddy Cripps, a proud West Australian, was the man who's got him over the line in many games this year. And he saluted last night with the Brownlow medal. Paddy, come in. How are you, mate?
Good, thanks, guys. It's been a fun night.
Yeah,
Holy-
fresh as this morning.
Holy
Fresh.
crip, you've done it.
You can hear in my voice. I sound very fresh.
Tell us about the celebrations then, Paddy.
No, it was good. I had family over, so we had a good night, and a fair few of the boys rocked up as well. So it was a good celebration, and it's something that it was worth a few beers for. That's for sure.
I mean, bittersweet that the game that got you across the line was that one where you went down to Collingwood by 1 point, which cost you the spot in the finals, and yet you scored the 3 votes, which got you the Brownlow medal. Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's definitely something I tried to forget, to be honest. But
sorry for bringing it up.
To be honest, it was actually a great game.
Yeah.
You know, it was a massive crowd. As a kid, you dream of playing in front of big crowds, and felt like we actually played really well. But Collingwood, they've done that all year. They found a way to win, and it's credit to them. And although they fell short on the weekend, you got to respect the way they've gone about it.
All right, Paddy, I want to know the etiquette of winning a medal, right? So you got the Brownlow around your neck, and then afterwards, how quick was it until people said, "Can I try it on?" Or is the etiquette, no, it's mine for the night? What happens with the Brownlow?
No, I had a fair bit of family and mates over, so it was pretty quick off my neck. And then, to be honest, about 3 hours I didn't know who had it, but it's the main thing.
Have you done the Fifey shirt off just wearing a Brownlow selfie yet?
Oh, yeah, he loves the
I
G-string.
got asked that just before. I said my rig's not quite as good as Fifey, so I've left the jumper on.
So how many did you just have the oldies in town? I met your dad at the Bunbury Cup a few years ago because the Northampton crew do a big tour. I normally go to a race meeting in Melbourne, but because of COVID, they ended up at the Bunbury Cup.
That's a bit of a downer.
Would you believe it? But did you have?
No,
How many of them? Did you have,
one.
yeah, did you have How many of them did you have over?
Nah, so my parents were over, and my little brother lived with myself and my partner this year, so had them over. Then my partner's sister and her boyfriend came in as well, and obviously a fair few of the colour boys rocked up, so it was a good crew. We definitely made the most of the night, that's for sure.
Hey, talking about your partner, I mean, he looked absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering if is it stressful for her, because we know that the women have to go on the red carpet and there's going to be a who's hot and who's not list with their clothing. And then this year, apparently, it was forbidden to ask who they were wearing.
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, how was it for her, the whole experience? Bit stressful?
Yeah, I reckon the first couple of years she was a bit stressed, but she's sort of done it a few times now. But she's pretty chilled out. She's not too fussy. So she did well. She looked stunning. So to be honest, it's definitely a lot more work for the girls than this.
Exactly.
I had a few beers before and rocked up 10 minutes, chucked the suit on and walked down. But she had about 3 hours to get ready. So, she did well. She did a great job.
Yeah, but
It is unfair for the women versus the guys.
So that was the mandate. So no questions were to be asked about what you're wearing or who you're wearing or why are you wearing this.
Why are you wearing
which also, like for all the fashion designers that dress these ladies for free, they'll be going,
hang on a second.
Hello.
I think the girls get worded up. They're pretty good at putting it out there.
Slip it
in.
Yeah, we're us guys would say, yeah, we got a black suit on.
Yes, exactly.
So.
Ferrari formal wear.
That's the one. Paddy, I need to take responsibility for your victory because yesterday I put $50 on Lockie Neal, and whenever I do that, it's a kiss of death that these guys know. It is definitely the kiss of death.
Sean's famously really bad at calling results of things.
I did it to Marcus Bontempelli last year, so that got you over the line. And the game that actually got you over the line, the fact that you got the votes against Port Adelaide in a losing game that nobody predicted, that was a good one.
To be honest, mate, I actually didn't play the Port Adelaide game. I was injured. So,
Another great call from Sean.
But we'll go with that one.
Was it the Swans go? I can't even remember.
He's a sports journalist.
Who knows, mate? Yeah, it was. There's definitely a few games where I didn't think I'd poll and I polled, but there's a few games where I thought I might have got a few more and I didn't. So
But Paddy, I'm sorry for you to get the 3 votes on a game you didn't play. That's amazing, isn't it?
Well, that's how I won it, I think. Yeah.
Sean, you're right. That is amazing.
Yeah.
I'm surprised
People
no one
aren't
else has
paying
brought it
enough
up.
attention to it.
Stop looking at the paper trying to find the answers.
Yeah, just make sure before Gil got up, I slipped him a $50.
Well, growing up and doing boarding school, mate, going to Aquinas, and how was that all for your life through that period? Must have been awesome fun.
Yeah, it was great. It's I went there when I was 12, so teacher did grow up pretty quick and, be pretty independent. But yeah, my best mates are still from boarding school days, and it was great. It's it's just you hang out with your best mate 24/7, and you sort of forge bonds that last for a lifetime. So got great memories from those days, and there's a lot of guys that I still chat to quite a bit.
How did the Aquinas footy team go that year?
We actually got runner-up that year.
Yeah, right.
So, we're handy, but it's a round-robin comp, the PSA, so you don't actually play up in the grand final. So, Hale won at year 12. It's still something that bugs me today, to be honest.
How many Brownlow medalists were in that team, though?
Yeah, not 0, I think.
There's one now.
So got something on him.
Yeah.
Hey, Paddy, what's the rest of your day look like? Because it sounds like you just want to go back to sleep. Hey?
Yeah, I'm ready for bed. I got a presser in about half an hour, and then after that I'm done. So
half an hour? Does that sound like it's hours away right now?
That feels like about 5 hours away.
You feel your pain.
Oh, Paddy, I just wanted to ask you one question, though.
No, he wants to go to sleep.
I know, but
It's about a game he played in?
You signed a big longer-term contract a little while ago with Carlton, but was there any lure to come back? Because I know, in the papers over here, you'll read that of West Coast Freo, obviously, your support for West Coast back in the day.
We've got room for another Cripps.
Was it strong at any stage?
Oh, I always loved Perth. I'm definitely, me and my partner are both from there, so once footy's done, we'll definitely make our way back there. But, Carlton always was the one that gave me the first crack at it, and my family was a pretty loyal family, so although there was, there's always that temptation, I'm really loyal, and I feel like we're building something pretty special now, so I think I'm in it for the long run. We haven't played much success yet, but we'll make it all worth it once we get there.
All right, Paddy, now shut your eyes for 15 minutes.
Thanks for talking to us.
Good on you, mate.
Congratulations.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Fantastic.
Cheers.
The Nathan, Nat and Sean podcast.
It's an absolute treat to be catching up with Australian legend Ash Barty, who's recently retired, as we know. She's a 3-time Grand Slam winner, and she's written a memoir, My Dream Time. Ash, good morning.
Morning, guys. Thanks for having me.
Ash Barty, did you write this by yourself?
I had some help with some very good people around me. I've been very lucky throughout my whole career and my life, in both professional and personal, to have very good people around me. So I definitely had good people guiding me, but it was a lot of fun to sit down and write it with a collective team.
Oh, my God. So, okay, log cabin, like a desk by the beach, an old stately home, antique typewriter. Talk to me. What was that process?
More so leaning towards in my backyard with a beer in hand, watching my husband fertilise the grass.
So this has got the distinct
Same,
smell
same.
of blood and bone on it.
I create the visualization in my head. It's all the same.
I'm glad he gave you some inspiration for your memoir, Ash. That's hilarious.
Hey, Ash, you just mentioned having a beer. A lot of the stuff when I was reading through, a lot of the times when you finished a major tournament and you were able to have some letdown time, it was a beer, it was pizza. And I always seem to pick up that you like a hot chips.
Oh, I don't mind hot chips. I think everyone kind of likes hot chips, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely.
Where's the best hot chips? Where do you get the best
Oh,
hot chips from?
No, I'm not a connoisseur. I don't know. I just know good ones when I can taste them.
See, because I think Hungry Jack's has stepped their chips up. Their chips are now amazing. But also, do you guys have Jesters over where you are? Jesters
I think they're
Pies?
only in Victoria.
Oh,
I don't think in
Jesters
Queensland.
Pies,
No,
world's
I
best
never heard of
chips.
it.
Amazing.
They do great chips.
Yeah.
Hey, Ash, starting this book, you actually went through a big time loss that you had at Wimbledon to kick things off instead of, building into that moment, and you just kind of went straight into it in these memoirs. That was interesting.
Yeah, I think for me it was a really pivotal moment in my career. It was probably the defining match that helped me find success. It was the defining match that the choices after that experience at Wimbledon probably could have gone one of two ways, and we chose the positive way. We chose change, and we chose to become better. And I think if I didn't, that was probably the moment for me that really was the catalyst for the rest of my career. Because if I didn't make that positive change, I probably end up being an average, 50 to 75 player in the world, grinding along, not really fulfilling, finding fulfillment in myself or in my passion. So I think for me, that was probably the most important chapter to write. It was a really difficult one. It was one I cried a lot. It was almost really therapeutic. It was a way for me to almost close that chapter as well. From that experience, it was a really tough experience, but I learned from it, and I was able to gain something positive out of it. And if I didn't, I think it's probably a chapter and a moment and a match that's filled with a lot of regret.
You're far from average, Ash, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Ash, I guess because you were saying it was quite cathartic to write this memoir, reliving those moments again. I mean, were they still extremely vivid for you, trying to sort of go through that process, get it all in writing, and have to, sort of relive those moments again for you?
Massively so. And we started transcribing way back in 2018, 19, and we'd often do chunks of important parts and chunks of the book really fresh. So, like for example, last year after the French Open, going through that injury, we did the transcribing kind of my thoughts and emotions while I was waiting for my scan. It was really fresh. So I think a lot of it, I wanted it to be real. I didn't want to have to remember how I felt. I wanted to be able to talk about how I felt in that moment.
Wow.
So we did a lot of the transcribing pretty much every 2 or 3 weeks, a quick hour phone call to get it all down. And in the end, we had near 100,000 words just on tennis alone.
Yep.
And then we kind of pegged it back a bit to blend it together.
Actually, I want to talk to you about the fact that there are so many people in the Australian sporting landscape which are legends in their own right, but they're not sporting history. You became sporting history. Is that such a huge responsibility? What's the weight of that? What was the feeling of knowing that now you are going to be talked about for generations?
It's a moment of probably reflection and appreciation, because I felt like I was just trying to live out my journey as best that I could, and I continue to do that each and every day now. I'm just trying to be the best version of myself. I've never pretended to be someone that I'm not, and I just think I'm the luckiest athlete on the planet that got to live out my ultimate dream. I got to do it with people that I love, and I got to share experiences with people that push me to be the very best that I can be, and to be a very small part of Australian sport in a sense. We have such a rich history across all sport. Today is one of my favourite days on the calendar. It's first day of cricket summer. It's so good. Like, I don't know.
You're going to be watching the test?
Oh yeah, I'll be watching it. But I think it's Australians. We're just sport nuts, aren't we?
Yeah.
And I think for me as a fan, to experience and to be able to watch people do what they do and love what they do is really fun. And I think I was just really lucky that I got to be on the other side of the rope for for 20 years living out my tennis dream.
And Sean, you used to say this quite a lot, and we all did when you were playing. Tennis is seen as a solitary sport, a single, just you and the ball and your challenger. But you're the first person I really feel like turned it into a team sport because you spoke about your team so much.
Oh, 100%, Ash. And we see that throughout the book, Nath. Always mentioning the people who are helping you, your psych, your coaches, the people who are right behind you. Always played a really big part on you progressing through tournaments and then debriefing. Ash, it was quite incredible to hear you talk about team all the time.
Yeah, for me, it was just so important. It was almost a moment for me to genuinely appreciate and kind of probably give my team the acknowledgement they deserve. I always knew that they deserved it, but maybe not everyone surrounding. They always got to see me on the court or me on centre court or me in the media, and they never saw my team because there is such a big team. There are so many people that are pieces of the puzzle that help put me back together, that picked me up when I was down and that helped me through really tough times. And I couldn't do a tenth of it myself. Absolutely, without them, I'd be nothing. So I think more this is an acknowledgement to them for their time and effort and love and commitment and professionalism that they put into my career and their sacrifices to invest in me. And, I'm very much and forever grateful to them for that. And we have, we built relationships over time.
Yeah.
That are like family now. And what is most special, I think, about my entire career is that my relationship with Tyes, with Crowe, with Tubbs, my trainer, with my physios, hasn't changed to this day. We still have the same group chats, so we're talking about the cricket or the banter or AFL, whatever it is. It's just, there's just no more, okay, we're booking a court at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning or we're playing such and such, let's get ready. It's amazing that we've been able to flick the switch so seamlessly. And the relationships genuinely haven't changed.
The fact that everyone was, what's Ash going to do next? What's Ash going to do next? And it was such a big story, and it still is. Ash, say if today you had some friends message you and say, hey, let's go down to the beach and play some beach volleyball. Do you worry that that's going to be the next Ash Barty is going to play for Australia in beach volleyball? People are always wondering what you're going to do.
That's what happened with the golf.
And you keep saying, no, I'm not, but they just won't let it go.
They won't let it go, will they? But we have a bit of fun with it. We honestly do. I mean, I like to take the piss out of myself. I'm always going to, and some of the memes that I saw afterwards is a jockey and lawn bowls cracking up at them. It's so funny. Brilliant stuff. People have got very, very sharp and very quick wit, and I love it.
That's so good.
Well, one thing you said in the book about once you've climbed the mountain, it's how do you do that again? It's like pushing a boulder up the hill and then it comes back down. You redo it again. And I mean, it's all viewed differently. But say Rafa and Roger, Roger in particular, he's just finished up. He's played for all those things and won so many titles. I wonder often, have they got anything else to do in their life?
Yeah.
They've got all the money. They've achieved all these goals. How do they keep doing it time and time again? Do you wonder about that, Ash, after now that you're 3-time Grand Slam winner?
Yeah, I do, but I think each career is almost incomparable. I think, you look at someone like a Roger and Rafa and even Serena in that sense. Yeah. They just love the game. They just love it. They just can't get enough of it. And it just so happens that they're pretty damn good at it. But I think they love that. And for me, I love tennis, but I also love other things. I love other hobbies and doing things with my family, and I have other interests and other goals in my life, and maybe they don't, which is completely fine. That's what they want to do. But I think it's all about that. When you talk about that climb and kind of pushing the rock up the hill, it's hard, but it is the best bloody climb you'll ever do. And I really loved every second of it, and now it's just time for me to find a different mountain to climb. So it's still having those same ambitions and dreams and passions and goals. And I think it's just finding what else and what other mountains there are.
Of course, rumour going around right now that you're going to be a professional trampolinist. Would you like to comment?
Did you start that one, did you?
If you don't answer, we know the answer.
She's going to double bounce herself into victory.
I'll say nothing. Let's keep the speculation.
Okay. Well, we really appreciate your time, Ash. I know that everyone's wanting a piece of you. And it's so funny, you retired, you go, retirement, that means laying on the beach. But I know you're super busy. We see you everywhere, writing books, writing children's books. This one's called My Dreamtime, Ash Barty. Thanks so much for joining us this morning, mate.
Great. Thanks so much for having me, guys. Appreciate it. Have a good one.
Thanks, Ash.
Nathan, Nat and Sean.
Time to catch up with Mr. Cricket. I'm talking about Mike Hussey. You can see him on Fox Cricket, the only place to watch every ball of the upcoming Test series, available on Foxtel and KO Sports. Mr. Cricket, who led the English to the T20 victory the other day. Explain yourself, please, Mike.
Hello, Mr. Cricket.
Good morning, Sean, Nat, Nathan. Thanks for having me on. I hate to say it, but it was really a weird experience pulling on the shirt the first time, but they were a fantastic bunch of guys to work with. Really enjoyed the experience. Bit of an Aussie flavour in the coaching staff, which was good as well, but... it was. You get invested pretty quickly. You know, when you get around a new team and you get in the nets and start working with them and you meet them as players and you see how hard they work, you sort of think, wow, you know, these guys are pretty special.
It is treason, though.
Mike, I couldn't put on a West Coast jumper and feel comfortable with myself. And essentially,
what about if they paid you?
Well, of course I'd be there. What time?
I vaguely remember you giving me a hard time when I moved from the Scorchers to the Sydney Thunder, Sean. So I'm used to this from you. So no, it's easy now.
But so your career, Sean, you were just one club, and here, one radio station. You don't understand hopping around.
No, as you know, though, for a checkbook, I'm happy to go anywhere.
Nobody else is willing to pay him.
Do things.
But I'll tell you what, I'd sledge everyone else. Mike, there's been so much happening in cricket, and in particular, I know you would have been asked this a lot about Justin Langer and his tenure at the Australian cricket team and how they're viewed, the players that is, from more so a West Australian point of view in recent times.
Are we missing something? Because we know JL, and granted, we haven't been coached by him, but we just think that he's a really fair guy and he is just all for open communication.
And that the results are on the board
the results are on the board. So what's your take on that?
Well, no, you're exactly right. He's a passionate guy. He's a very loyal guy, hardworking. He just loved that job so much. And, I think there's been a bit too much made of the big feud between him and Pat Cummins. I actually had a bit of a laugh yesterday. I was thinking about the first Test match and thinking, Pat Cummins opening the bowling for Australia from the Justin Langer stand there, and I wonder how that's going to go down with the crowd. But I actually think that knowing JL really well, he would be more upset if the Perth public didn't get behind the Australian cricket team, and if they gave him a hard time, I think that would hurt JL even more. So he as I said, he loves those players. Yes, things could have been done differently and should have been done better. I get all that. But I just know he'll be supporting the Australian cricket team, unequivocally when it comes to the first Test in Perth.
I don't think it's the people not getting behind the Australian cricket team. I think it was more so Cricket Australia that people were like, do you think
miffed about?
how can you disrespect him like that? You know, I understand that there are leaks coming from the team or whatever, but you're the people that employ him.
Well, Mike, you're one of these guys. Whenever there was something said about Justin, and maybe when after he was cut loose by the Australian cricket team, as you're saying that, or Nick Hockley and the gang up there, Nath. All the old chestnuts and all the champions that we know, they were like, no way. I think you've lost the plot. Is that how you were seeing it?
Yeah, obviously we're all good mates with JL, and we've been on the journey with him for so long. I think we all can acknowledge it could have been handled a lot better than what it was. We weren't in the inner sanctum. I actually think Pat Cummins sort of summed it up pretty well. Like he sort of said, he respects all of JL's mates standing up for him, but we're not in the dressing room seeing what's happening day in, day out. And Paddy Cummins was out there sticking up for his mate. So I sort of understood that. And look, again, I think it's been blown up a lot more than what it should. I think there's a real respect there from the players towards JL. And look, talking to a lot of them, that they loved the work that he did with the Australian team. That obviously it felt like that they thought, okay, now it's time to move on to the next sort of phase, and that's the way it sort of played out. As I said, I think Cricket Australia could have handled that a little bit better, but they didn't, and so it sort of lingered on a bit longer than what it should. But honestly, I think JL summed it up really well. I think he spoke last night, and he wanted to sort of dispel any sort of rumours or thoughts or innuendo that there was a big rift between him and Pat Cummins in particular. And as I said, that's why I know he'll be hoping the team does well this week.
Yeah. Okay.
So on that, I mean, the team didn't do so well at the World Cup, didn't make the semi-finals, crashed out. The game against New Zealand was so awful, we don't even know where to begin. So what's happened to the culture of the team since JL? Why are they where they at now?
Well, again, I honestly don't think there should be any panic, for Australian fans out there. Obviously, I was in with the England camp, and we respected the Australian team so highly. There's so many match winners down the list there, and when Australia were knocked out of the tournament, I can honestly assure you England were pretty relieved, because if Australia had made the semi-finals with the quality they've got in their team, that they would have been really dangerous. And T20 cricket, it's so volatile. It's literally like a bounce of the ball this way or a bounce of the ball that way. I know some of the fans are disappointed with the results, but when you lose that first game by so much, it's pretty hard to sort of peg your way back, especially when there's a bit of rain around. Like, for example, England were meant to play Australia at the MCG and the game got washed out. Whoever won that game would have gone through to the semi-finals. So England go on and win the tournament, but it's honestly fine, the finest of margins in this tournament.
Hey, Mike, just changing tack for a second. The other day we spoke to Gilly, and he was talking about... We mentioned to Gilly because Ricky Ponting's coming over, as you would know, for this test. And so Ricky was given all the bottle of Grangers when he retired, and Gilly had him at his house. You would have been a part of that era. So
Gilly got a clock, though.
Yeah. Gilly got a clock. So when you... It's not quite,
doesn't seem
apples and
equitable,
Yeah,
does
it doesn't. So when you retired, and you know the greatest we've had, for Australia, what did you get from Cricket Australia?
Well, funny enough, I got a coffee table, a glass coffee table, with a little place to put my baggy green in, and I actually was given 4 bottles of wine. Well, they said, look, we haven't got the wine just yet. We'll send it to you when we sort of get it.
Yeah.
And it's actually still empty. I still haven't received my 4 bottles of wine. I'm just hanging on to my little wooden coffee table. But it doesn't. You don't retire to receive gifts like that. It's not what it's all about. It's more about the journey and the great mates and camaraderie.
Sorry. Not in a million years. We are here for gifts. Mike, can you explain the coffee table to me? Because I've never heard anyone receive... I don't even think you buy someone a gift as a coffee table,
unusual,
let alone be a thank you and end of a career gift. So explain it to us. What?
Well, it was handmade, sort of, I don't know, it's not that big. It's about a sort of metre tall by about half a metre high.
Yes.
And it's got a wooden sort of, border, and it's got a glass top. And you can lift the glass top off, and there's a place there for my baggy green, a nice photo
So you can
my
display
family,
things
and then a place, and a place for 4 bottles of wine. But unfortunately, the wine hasn't arrived just yet.
So it's like a gift box.
Yes, that's
but
empty.
in the form of a coffee table. So where is it now?
It sits in my study at the moment. My baggy green's sitting proudly in there.
Yes.
But yeah, that's about it.
We got okay. What bottles of wine? What bottles of wine was due?
Get down to Dan Murphy's and fill it up.
Yeah, we'll do that for you.
The problem was Ricky Ponting retired just before me, and he got a bottle of Grange for every 100 he scored. And I think he scored like 40 hundreds.
Yeah, he did.
So I don't think there was any Grange left in the country.
stop
So
flying.
I was promised 4 bottles of Grange, one for each of my children.
Yep.
But yeah, as I said,
How many centuries
it's
did
still,
you hit?
It's still percolating.
How many centuries did you hit?
Who me?
Yeah.
19.
Well, you should be getting 19 bottles.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I thought too. That's what I thought.
You can't go to give one guy a bottle
you
for
kidding me,
every
though?
century
No,
and then
hang
you
on,
a
hang
bottle
on,
for
hang on.
every
He got a coffee table as well. Coffee table, baggy green inside, and I reckon all Mike needs is a bag green.
And look, Ricky Ponting, he's in a different level to me altogether. He played like
mate,
150
hold on.
tests, captain
Yeah,
Australia,
so he gets
World
40
Cup
bottles
winner,
and you get 19.
Mate, your average is unbelievable.
I'm just happy. I'm just happy that I got to play with him.
No.
Mike, you had an
Wow.
average like Don Bradman there for most of your career.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're right behind you.
Yeah.
Love you, even when
Yeah.
you're representing the opposition.
At least 19 cans of wide mouth tinny of
That's
export.
right.
Yeah, that'd be
19
all right.
White
That'd be
Claw.
all right.
Well, you can watch Mike Hussey, by the way, on Fox Cricket, as I said earlier on. It'll be on Foxtel and KO. The Test Series against the West Indies kicks off very shortly next week, in fact, here at Optus. So get behind the Australian team. Mike, thanks very much for your time. Really appreciate it, mate.
No worries, guys. Thanks for having me on. Have a good day.
See you, buddy.
Nathan, Nat and Sean is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcasts.com.au.